Welcome to FRC Media News for Thursday, October 17th, 2019. I'm Keith Tebow. Mayor Correia has announced that he's taking temporary leave of absence from office and suspending his re-election campaign, while a well-known local political figure throws her hat into the ring for mayor. And also this week, we'll look back at the groundbreaking of what will be the expansion of the Stanley Street Treatment and Resources Center. And we'll talk about those stories coming up in just a few moments. Actually, we'll get into some of them right now. We bring in Phil Devitt, the digital news editor from the Herald News, to join us as he does each and every week. Phil, how are you? Welcome back.
Thank you very much, Keith. Good to be with you.
As people may know, there's about 2.5 weeks before the Fall River City election on November 5th. And a lot of news again this week evolving around the mayor's election. Mayor Correia, we'd actually heard some of this late last week, Phil, that the mayor was possibly considering stepping aside, his leave of absence, if you will, from his role as mayor and suspending his campaign. As we may know, exactly a week ago, the Bristol County Superior Court ruled that the city council's wish to temporarily remove the city from office via a vote was actually rejected. But this week, the mayor made the announcement actually on Tuesday that he will step down and take a leave of absence and suspending his campaign. Let's hear from the mayor earlier this week.
I'm here today to officially announce my decision to forgo my campaign for re-election as the mayor of Fall River and take a temporary absence from my responsibilities as the mayor of the city. Those duties will now be handled by the City Council President. I will continue as mayor until January 1st, 2020, and will focus the remaining time and my attention on championing and supporting many of the impactful social programs that I have established during my administration. Today's announcement provides the City of Fall River an opportunity to build on the successes and accomplishments of my administration without any distraction. This announcement allows the voters who will take to the polls the chance to evaluate candidates on policy and platforms, not headlines. The people of Fall River have shown their continuous support for the work that I've done as their mayor by electing me 3 times, and I will be forever grateful to each and every one of them. I pledge that I will see that work through and reaffirm their confidence in me. At the end of the day, Fall River must win, not just any one person. That is why at this time, the city must have an opportunity to continue to thrive and build upon the solid foundation and framework without distraction. I will never waver in my commitment to the people of Fall River. Today is not goodbye. It's far from it. Whether serving in an official capacity as an elected official or not, I will continue to fight every day to improve the lives of every resident of the great city of Fall River. And I fully expect to lead this city on the rise once again in the future.
We actually heard, Phil, that cut was actually the beginning of his speech and the end of the speech. In the middle, he was talking about all the accomplishments that he has seen, that he feels are important to the city of Fall River. One of them was right behind him, the construction of the new BMC Durfee High School. Some interesting things to note here, Phil, is the fact that even though the mayor is stepping down, he's still going to be collecting his salary, $119,000 a year over the next 3 months, and he's still going to be on the ballot on November 5th, correct?
That is correct. Yeah, you know, it was an interesting scene on Tuesday for those of us who were there or saw this feed on Facebook or on television. Here you have a mayor under mounting pressure, and he did essentially what the city council had been after him to do for a month, short of a flat-out resignation. He cited the same section of the city charter that the council used to try to temporarily oust him following his September 6th arrest on extortion charges, taking what he called a temporary absence. As you mentioned, Keith, he is still collecting his $119,000 salary, and even though he suspended that campaign, he is still on the ballot for the November election. After his announcement on Tuesday, we checked in with his challenger in this election, Paul Coogan, who said he was skeptical of the mayor's intentions here because this sort of plays into a strategy the mayor talked about in a closed-door campaign meeting last month to bring in potentially some other candidates, which I know we'll get into. and possibly split the vote in his favor.
Yeah, let's dovetail into that right now.
Sure.
24 hours after the mayor announced that he would be stepping aside and suspending his campaign, City Administrator Kathy Ann Viveras, who has run for mayor on 5 other occasions, all unsuccessfully, came out and threw her hat into the ring as a write-in candidate. Let's hear from her.
I thought it was very important that we give the voters of Fall River a choice in the upcoming election for mayor. I will be a write-in candidate for that office. As I hear about the change that my opponent is planning, I am very fearful that the tremendous progress we have made over the past 6 years will be lost. We deserve more than a default vote for a candidate that I believe will bring back the failed economic practices from our past. I have been involved in the community of Fall River for over 40 years, and I can honestly say, in my lifetime, I have never seen the city so poised to complete an economic transformation that will make our workforce a dominant force in the entire South Coast. Fall River is developing a prominent role in new and emerging technologies, and this is going to be extremely benefit to allow us to grow and prosper, and for our workforce to do the same. We're developing strategic partnerships with our state government agencies. We're working diligently, and we are coming so close. We cannot change our course now. We have got to keep it going.
City Administrator Kathy Ann Viveras announcing her run for mayor as a write-in. And Phil, you mentioned that audio that was leaked to local news from a mayoral campaign event meeting a few weeks ago, where the mayor mentioned that in a one-to-one race he would probably lose, but they would have to run what was called a untraditional campaign, which would mean the introduction of multiple candidates, similar to what happened in the recall, where the mayor won with a plurality of the vote. The question needs to be asked, is this part of that strategy? Could this be part of that strategy that the mayor mentioned back at that meeting?
So at her announcement outside Government Center on Gramada Plaza Wednesday, Kathy was asked that very question, and she flat out denied that Mayor Correia, her boss, had anything to do with her decision to run. She said that she's, quote, an independent candidate. Of course, there had been rumors that she was gearing up for a write-in campaign, dating back to late September, when she told us at the Herald News that she would only run if the mayor stepped aside. He did just that on Tuesday, and 24 hours later, Kathy made her announcement. Kathy also said in her remarks yesterday, Keith, that she was content to remain city administrator, but she didn't think that she would continue to have a role in a Paul Coogan administration. And we checked in with Coogan, who verified that for us, even saying that he had a conversation with Kathy indicating that she would not have a place in his administration. So that's pretty much the latest that we have. Of course, now we're looking at a ballot with Paul Coogan and Jazel Correia, and of course Kathy as a write-in. It remains to be seen if others will step up to mount write-in campaigns as we get closer and closer to November 5th.
I'm sure there are many a local Fall River historian out there that may have this answer, but have you or anyone else at the paper done any research in terms of the success rate of a write-in candidacy here in Fall River, regardless of the race? Have you done that yet?
We have not. We're tapping into all sorts of different angles here. That's certainly one well worth looking into. As far as Kathy specifically, you can't say that she's not persistent here. This is, of course, her 6th run for the mayoral office. And she seemed, by all indications in her speech yesterday, to be confident about this despite the time crunch.
Right. She definitely has a lot of name recognition. If I remember correctly, the last time she ran, which was against then what would be Mayor Will Flanagan, I believe in the preliminary election that year, I believe it would have been 2011, She actually finished first in the preliminary election, but
Yeah.
in the 2009. But in the general election that year, Will Flanagan turned it around and ended up winning election. So she's got support out there. She's got to tap into that. But there's also some extra steps for people when they vote on election day. You know, they have to fill in her name and also fill in the circle. So it'll be interesting to see
Yeah.
how that all plays out. Meanwhile, we now have an acting mayor, City Council President, now acting Mayor Cliff Ponte. And I know that yesterday some of your reporters spent some time with the acting mayor in his first day, and he's looking just to make sure that things remain on an even keel, right?
Exactly, Keith. He started on Tuesday afternoon, but his first full day as acting mayor was Wednesday, and it was a full day. He met with department heads, members of the administration, sort of to get his bearings, but also to let them know where he stands. He has pledged to be at Government Center every day, working around his schedule in the real estate business. And he's making some moves right off the bat. We have obtained a letter that he sent to the city clerk today, essentially firing Hildegard Camara from his position as the mayor-appointed director of the Bristol County Training Consortium. You might remember that Hildegard's been on leave from that job, having pleaded guilty last month to co-conspirator charges in the mayor's alleged plot to extort marijuana companies. He would have been removed from that post anyway upon sentencing. Ponte saying his guilty plea and criminal conviction are grounds for his immediate dismissal. And to your point, Keith, beyond that, Ponte says he's just trying to restore some calm in City Hall, telling workers that he's accessible, he's ready to help them, and he understands that this has been a difficult time for the staff there.
So obviously he'll be busy over the next few months, not only being acting mayor, but also he's up for re-election in terms of his city council seat. He'll be on the ballot as a city council candidate, again coming up on November 5th, the election. But something to sort of dovetail all this in, to wrap up our discussion of the election, we want to let people know that next week FRC Media will be sponsoring a series of 2 candidate forums on Monday and on Wednesday of next week. Monday will be featuring the candidates running for school committee, and then on Wednesday we'll be featuring the candidates running for city council. Those 2 events will be held right here at Bristol Community College in the Jackson Arts Center Theater. The city council forum will begin at 6:30 p.m. The city council forum, because there are 16 candidates, will actually be splitting those up into 2 separate forums of 8 candidates each. And next Wednesday, the 23rd, those forums will be held at 6 p.m. and then panel 2 at 8 p.m. And you'll be able to see Phil Devitt, as he'll be on our city council panel next Wednesday asking questions of the candidates. So you can watch the forums right here on FRC Media Channel 95, as well as on our Facebook page. So a little plug there, and we thank you, Phil, in advance for agreeing to join us at that time. It's going to be one of the only events, probably the only forum, if you will, that will be held between now and Election Day for City Council. Fred TV, our colleagues up the street, actually held a forum last night for school committee candidates. So it's another way to get the word out on these candidates. And you know, Phil, a lot of people have been talking about the mayor's race, but there's 2 other races on the ballot as well, so city council and school committee. So want to let you know about that coming up next week. All right,
Can't
Phil.
wait. Looking forward to it.
Great. What's coming up over the next few days at the paper?
So, of course, the dominant story in the news right now is the one we've been talking about. And one of the things we did was reach out to Herald News readers to ask them what they want to know about this whole situation, us having never been in it before. So we've collected those questions, and we are in the process of sniffing out answers for them, and we're going to put it all together into a nice, neat little package for people that will hopefully clear a lot of questions up in the coming days.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot on people's minds, and it'll be interesting to see how it plays out on Election Day in terms of not only who they vote for, but how many people actually come out. We did have a fairly good turnout for the preliminary election, where there was only the race for mayor on the ballot. Now we've got, 16, 24 other candidates on the ballot with the city council and school committee. So it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out. And again, 3 weeks from today, Phil, we'll be talking about the results of the election. All right, thanks for joining us, and we'll talk again soon. Take care.
You too, Keith. Thank you very much.
We'll have more FRC Media News after this.
Here are some job descriptions on the latest hot jobs list from the Mass Hire Fall River Career Center. Paraprofessional, Fall River Public School Department, located at 417 Rock Street, is looking for a full-time paraprofessional to be directly responsible to the teacher for activities related to instruction and program implementation at Cuss Middle School. Job number 127-28938. Carpenter Journeyman. Tradesman International is looking for a full-time carpenter journeyman to construct, erect, install, and repair structures and fixtures of wood, plywood, metal studs, and drywall to buildings in the Fall River area. Job number 127-21071. General Manager, Qdoba, located at 544 William S. Canning Boulevard, is looking to hire a full-time general manager to oversee and manage the restaurant, employee management, business and financial management, and provide exceptional customer service. Job number 127-22870. Accent Care Incorporated, located at 275 Martine Street, is looking to fulfill the following full and part-time positions. Certified Occupational Therapist Assistant, job number 127-26170. Hospice Registered Nurse, job number 127-27258. H&R Block, located at 1321 South Main Street, is also looking to fulfill the following full and part-time positions. Associate Team Leader, job number 127-25233. Receptionist, job number 127-25229. For more information on these or other positions, visit masshiredjobquest.detma.org or call the Mass Hire Fall River Career Center at 508-730-5000.
Thank you for considering a homeless pet today. I hope you enjoy what you're about to see, and as always, please feel free to contact the shelter before coming down to make sure that the pets you're viewing are still available for adoption. We can be reached at 508-677-9154.
Hi, welcome to Hot Dogs and Cool Cats. Today we have Clint. Clint here, he's a 7-year-old, short hair. He's just a domestic short hair, mostly black, a little bit of white on him. Clint here, as you can tell, he loves his attention, but he's also pretty laid back. He did have a loving home before, but unfortunately, as circumstances unfolded, they could no longer keep him. So he came here so we could find a nice home for him. Hopefully, it's your home. He's just all around very mellow, and he's a very good boy. So if you'd like to meet Clint here, you can come down to 300 Linwood Street in Fall River, Massachusetts, at Forever Paws Animal Shelter.
This week on Hot Dogs and Cool Cats, we have Ray. She is a female Staffordshire Terrier. She's about 1.5 years. She was an owner surrender. She's not too bad on a leash. She's definitely manageable. She doesn't pull too much. So the only command that she does know is sit. Ray, sit. Good girl. She's been at the shelter for about 2 weeks now. So if you want to come down and meet Ray or any of the other dogs that we have here at the shelter, we are located at 300 Linwood Street in Fall River, Massachusetts. Every Wednesday we are closed to the public. Thursdays we are now open from 11 to 6. And our other days that we are open are from 11 to 4.
Welcome back. 75 Weaver Street in Fall River will be the new home of an expansion of the Stanley Street Treatment and Resources Center for area residents suffering from substance abuse disorders. Here's a look back at last week's groundbreaking ceremony.
So this is such a wonderful day. It's a wonderful day because we can finally move ahead to provide treatment and recovery to our clients and their families. It is wonderful because we come and celebrate this great accomplishment that we have made together. And I want to say that, together, as a community of philanthropists who see that The dignity and humanity exists within the hearts of those suffering with substance use disorders. People with substance use disorders have a basic human right to health care. All of you in this room and many people who could not be here today deserve so much more than a simple thank you from me. But you will soon see the fruits of your labors when we open up our center a short year from now. I undertook this task with great trepidation, not because I didn't think the facility was necessary, because it is necessary. And in the last year alone, we have lost 67 people who have overdosed in this city alone.
I started the comments by saying that this was, in part, an extraordinary affirmation of the vision and dedication of Nancy. It is also an affirmation of the vision and commitment and dedication of public officials in the room and the commitment of everybody else here. It's about the commitment that all of us try to share to a community coming together to fight the throes of addiction, mental illness, substance use disorder. It's about the patients that are asking for nothing more than help, are trying to get better, and seeking a pathway to do so. And about the failures of a system that for far too long has put up barrier after barrier for them to get better. And about a community that has said, we will tear every single one of them down because we believe in our people, and we believe in our neighbors.
Yes, sir.
We believe in our family members, and our parents, and our brothers and sisters, and our kids. Because I don't think that there's a family represented in this room today that doesn't have a family member or a close friend that has been touched by mental illness or substance use disorder or probably an opioid addiction. This isn't just about a building. This isn't just about a value. This is personal. And I'm so grateful to be here and sharing this moment with all of you.
The Fall River Public Library has a special Halloween-themed event planned for this upcoming weekend.
If you're a fan of the popular series of movies Ghostbusters, you won't want to miss the Fall River Public Library's Ghostbusters Night on Thursday, October 24th between 6:30 and 8 o'clock p.m. The library is going to be infested with ghosts and monsters and other creepy things for you to search and find. We're also having crafts, face painting, and a chance to meet the Ghostbusters themselves, as well as Mr. Stay Puft, who will be on hand. So it's going to be a fun night here at the Fall River Public Library. Come out in costume if you like, and join us for a night of ghost busting.
That'll do it for this edition of FRC Media News. Again, a reminder, please join us next week as we will have candidate forums. On Monday night, we'll be featuring the candidates running for school committee. That will begin live at 6:30 p.m. And then next Wednesday, we'll have two panels of the candidates running for city council. Those panels and forums will start at 6 p.m. and panel 2 will start at 8 p.m. You can watch FRC Media News on Thursdays and Fridays at 6 p.m. And you can follow us online at frcmedianews.org. For all of us here at FRC Media News, I'm Keith Tebow. Have a fantastic week, and we'll see you next Thursday.